Hello there. Welcome back to the SPS podcast. This is the first episode in 2023. So in this episode, we are going to discuss the only question you need to ask yourself to make 2023 the best year ever. Let's get into it. Welcome to the SPS podcast, the Self-Performance Strategies podcast. Unlocking the secrets to success and unlocking the secrets to self-performance so you can improve mentally, emotionally, and physically. The SPS podcast is brought to you by the Pro Accelerator program, helping business owners and business leaders save at least 10 working hours a week, improve their focus, and make more money. If that sounds like something you're interested in, check out the show notes and follow the links. But let's now jump into this episode. Hello. Welcome to the 37th episode of the SPS podcast, of the Self-Performance Strategies podcast. In this episode, we are going to be discussing the only question you need to know in 2023 to make this the best year ever. This question is one of the most important questions I've ever asked myself, and I continue to leverage it to make my life even better. But before we get into this question and before we get into discussing how it can make your life better, let's frame this conversation. Let's frame this episode with a quote like we do with all the episodes of the SPS podcast. And this quote comes from Voltaire. And he said, "Judge a man by his questions rather than by his answers." An absolutely fantastic quote from Voltaire. Now, a little backstory on me when it comes to answers and questions. When I was a young man, I never asked myself good questions, and I never asked myself the right questions. But I had an answer for everything when I was in my youth. Wise talking, get myself out of situations, always quick to come up with an answer, whether it was a good one or not, but I was always fast on my feet. And while that was good in some situations, in other more serious situations, especially early on in my working career, when I was talking to area managers or regional managers, people who have actually put in the hours and time to get to where they were in their life, they could tell that I was just pulling things out of thin air and trying to sound smart. So when I was younger, I did not ask myself or ask good questions around me, but I had a lot of answers. And that's the question I want to pose to you right now. Before we get into discussing this fantastic question that is going to help you make 2023 the best year ever, I want to ask you, do you ask yourself questions? Do you ask yourself the right questions? Because if you want to progress in your life and in your business, you've got to ask yourself the right questions. And I really do think that this is the only question that you need to know to succeed in your business or in your life. This one question, for me, it rules all other questions. A little bit like the ring in Lord of the Rings, the one ring to rule them all. This is the one question to rule them all. This question is inspired by the world of finance because it's a bottom line question. And what do I mean about a bottom line question? Well, it's a question that gets you down to basically a yes or a no. It gets you down to the absolute root decision, the root cause. There's only one or two ways you can go when you get to that level. You may be asking right now, this is great, Stephen. You've been talking now for a couple of minutes, but what the hell is this question? What is the question? Tell me the question. Calm down. I'm getting to it. I'm going to tell you the question now. The question that you need for 2023 to make it the best year of your life is, knowing what I now know, would I? I'll repeat that. Knowing what I now know, would I? This question is so powerful. And why is it a powerful question? Well, let me break down 4 points of why it's a powerful question before I go into how you can actually tactically and practically use this question in your business and in your life. The first reason why it's a powerful question is it allows you to reflect on your past decisions and actions from a new perspective. You're literally asking yourself, knowing what I now know, would I? So you're like, okay, would I do this differently? Would I do it the same? Would I continue doing this? Whatever that may be. By considering what you know, you will gain insight into what you might have done differently and use that knowledge to make better decisions in the future. Because that's what we want to do, don't we? We want to make better decisions. We want to do less dumb shit, and we want to save time, make more money, and create the fantastic life that we all deserve. This question helps you avoid repeating mistakes and make more informed decisions aligned with your values and goals in your life or in your business. That's the first point. The second reason why it's a powerful question is it helps you identify areas you may be holding yourself back. By considering what you would have done differently with the knowledge and experience you have today now, compared to what you had 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, you may realize that you've been limiting yourself in some way. Upper limit issue, emotional barriers, whatever that may be. This helps you overcome those limitations and pursue, can nearly speak, your goals more effectively. And who doesn't want that? We all have limiting beliefs. We all have upper limit issues. We all have barriers. We all have shit we're trying to overcome. But if we ask this precise question, we'll most likely or will be able to pull out those limiting beliefs and barriers a lot quicker. The third reason why this is a elite question is it helps you stay focused on what's most important to you, helping you make the most of your time and achieve your goals more efficiently. That's fantastic question. Any question that can help you do that is amazing. But this question really does help you do that. Because when you ask yourself, knowing what you now know, or knowing what you know now, would you continue on this project or that project? And you say no, well, you're not going to waste your time on that project anymore, are you? I hope not, because that's dumb shit. You want to drop the things that you know are not good for you. And this question helps you do that. Now, finally, the fourth point of why this is a fantastic question, and I actually think this is possibly the best point. This question helps you cultivate a growth mindset and a sense of continuous improvement. When you acknowledge that you are learning and growing by asking yourself what you do differently, this helps you build resilience and determination. And that resilience and determination will help you succeed in your business and in your life. Simple facts. Those are 4 great reasons why this is a powerful question. But you might be listening to this now and being like, cool, Stephen, cool, thanks. I appreciate that. That's really cool. But how do you use and apply a question like this? How do you actually practically and tactically use this question? Well, we're going to get into that. You're asking me a lot of questions today. Calm down. You apply this question to your business and your life in many areas: your projects, your interests, your relationships. So those are the 3 key areas that we're all involved in. We're health, wealth, relationships, and those projects, interests, and relationships within those 3 key areas. You ask yourself, knowing what I now know, would I continue with this specific project? Would I keep investing in this relationship? Would I go deeper with this hobby or skill? Lots and lots of places. Would I continue with this team member? Would I hire somebody else? Whatever your current situation is in your life, in all areas of your life, and all your key pillars, start asking this question and react to the results. This question gets you to the bottom line of what you want to focus on in 2023. When you go through your key pillars and you ask this question and you get to the bottom line, you'll know what is the most important things for you to focus on in 2023. For example, I asked this question to myself at the back end of 2022. And it is setting me up for this year. I asked, this question about which platforms should I focus on to grow my business? Which platforms should I continue to develop skills in? Which ones should I focus the most on? Now, when I asked this question, knowing what I now know about TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Medium, Twitter, I quickly dropped TikTok and Instagram. And it's not because I don't understand those platforms. I understand them perfectly well and can grow on them perfectly well. It's just I am focused on improving my digital writing. I'm focused on improving how I use my writing skills to attract clients, improve my copywriting skills, my digital writing skills, my general tweeting and actionable writing skills. And guess what? Those 2 platforms, TikTok and Instagram, and even to a certain extent YouTube, which I haven't been using over the last couple of years, would distract me from actually improving the core skill. Yes, they are platforms that you can use the scripts and your writing and your tweets on, but I am very focused on improving that core skill in the first quarter of 2023 and probably for the whole 2023. So I dropped those two platforms. So this question helped me remove what I'm currently thinking of as dumb shit in my life, because TikTok and Instagram have fallen into the dumb shit category for me because they're just distracting me. I'm not getting clients from those platforms currently, and I was spending a lot of time trying to grow, or not just trying to grow. I was growing on them, but I just don't feel like they were connecting with me, and I was making the best out of my time on those platforms. So they're gone. They're gone. Knowing what I know now, would I continue on TikTok, Instagram? No, not currently. Now, I may return to that and ask myself that question halfway through this year, and that answer might change. But currently, they are distracting me from my core goals, so they're gone. So, in my opinion, this is the best question to use if you want to focus on less and achieve more. Quite simply, that is one of my major goals with my coaching, with what I want to do in my life, is to remove the dumb shit, focus on the stuff that's working, and do more of that. Very, very simple. Not easy, but very, very simple. This question, asking this question, knowing what I now know, it forces you to be honest with yourself. It forces you to ask what relationships are draining you, what relationships are providing you energy, what pointless activities are you doing, what activities are bringing you lots of joy, what low ROI projects do you need to drop, what parts of your business are just draining you, or you're just throwing money at them, the sunk cost fallacy, and knowing what you now know, you want to get rid of them. You got to ask yourself those questions. When you ask yourself this question, you will decide yes or no quickly and build plans from there. Because knowing what I now know, would you continue with this part of my business? And your answer is no. Well, you've got to have to do something with that answer. And what you do is you either strategically walk away from that relationship, that project, that part of your business, or if you get a yes, you dive deeper into it. Now, you might be asking, hey, that's cool. Thanks again, Steve. I really appreciate the breakdown. But how do you react to the answers you get? Because not all your answers are going to be yes or no. And I get that. I do get that. And that's where I want to go a little bit deeper with this. So what I do is once I get the answers to this question, I put my current projects, activities, or relationships into 3 buckets. Okay. First one is go deeper. The second one is continue as. And the third one is stop and walk away. Okay. So the first one, go deeper, pretty straightforward. You just put more time into it. You make it more of a focus. You're really enjoying that project, that relationship, whatever you're doing. And you just fold into it and you do more of it. And you make it a bigger focus for your first quarter of 2023 or for the whole of 2023. Continue as is just basically what you're doing. You've got some, let's say relationship-wise, you've got some loose friends. And you're I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that relationship. I'm happy how I'm connecting with them once every couple of weeks. That seems to be good. Or it might be the way that you're working. You're posting on somewhere like Medium, like once a month or stuff. And you're like, yeah, that's good. I'm not really focusing on Medium right now, but keeping things ticking over once a month, that's fine. So whatever that is for you, it can be in your health, wealth, relationship, whatever pillar you have. If you look at a thing, knowing what you now know, and you look at a thing and you're like, yeah, I'm okay with that, stick with it. And then the third one is stop and walk away. This might take a little bit of planning. You might just rip the Band-Aid, drop a relationship, drop a project, drop a team member, whatever that may be. But sometimes these areas take a little bit of work. If you want to step away from a partnership, it might be a 3 or 6 month project. If you want to step away from a relationship with somebody, it might be a 3 to 6 month or even year-long process. But knowing that you want to move away from that relationship or that project or that work is the key thing. Now, the best part about this question and getting a stop and walk away is probably about 80 or 90% of what you're going to get an answer for that from. You're just going to drop really, really quickly. You're going to get that stop and walk away, and it's going to be some dumb shit, some platform you're using, some activity you're doing, some relationship you have that's kind of like, it's not important in your life, and you're like, I'm just going to stop hanging out with that person. And no one ever says anything. It's just you stop and walk away. But for the big things in life, the 10 or 20% that actually take a little bit of work, yes, I'm not saying just rip the Band-Aid from those, but you can start the process. Now, I review these buckets quarterly. Go deeper, continue as is, stop and walk away. Similar to using the 80-20 philosophy, I've already touched on it there. And it doesn't have to be precise. Just because I'm saying 80-20 doesn't mean that you have to find 20% of your projects or 80%. It's a rough idea. Like all percentages and all rules and all models, they're not meant to be exact. It's just a rough rule of thumb for you to get a bit of a clarifying idea of what you're doing. But I do use this quarterly, and I think to myself, what areas provide the most results and the most rewards? What do I want to lean into more? But more importantly, because I think personal development and business development and success comes from actually removing the dumb shit. It comes from removing the stuff that is actually sucking your energy, draining you, distracting you. And that's where you want to stop and walk away from those activities. Now, as we're getting to the end of this first podcast of 2023, of the 37th episode of the SPS podcast, I can guarantee you, if you can figure out and organize all your activities and all your key pillars after asking the question, knowing what I now know, and you can put those answers into 3 key buckets, you will end up focusing on high value and high dollar areas of your life effectively. This question gets you right down to the bottom line of what is most important to you, and it gives you the guardrails and the targets that you want to focus on and build in your life going forward over the next quarter and over the next year. Now, my request to you now, after listening to this episode, is to go ask yourself, knowing what I now know, would I? And go find the results for yourself. Go and figure it out in your life, in your 3 or 4 key pillars of your life, and really get focused on what is most important to you. Knowing what I now know, would I continue talking in this podcast? No, I've said everything I wanted to say. Thank you very much for joining me on the 37th episode of the SPS podcast. If you want to hit me up on my Twitter at Steve Timoney, that's at STEVETIMONEY, or head on over to my LinkedIn or website, which is at Stephen Timoney, STEPHENTIMONEY, added.com on the end of that for my website. And you can check out all my other episodes of my podcast, my blog, my coaching offer, all there. And hopefully, we will talk to each other in the next episode of the SPS podcast. Thank you very much, and make it a good one.